The number one challenge I see when I work with smart and innovative organizations as they grow is the silos that grow within those organizations. This could be silos between teams, or it could be between individuals. There are a lot of reasons behind these silos, but there's one in particular tied to one of the most fundamental aspects of human psychology that I want to help you get past as a leader. Before we dive in, I do want to say that if you're a regular of this channel, welcome. I'm so excited to see you again. If you're new, my name is Matt Jertson. I'm a former Air Force instructor pilot, former head of training and development at SpaceX. And if you are looking for actionable advice on how you can better lead your team to build amazing things in the world, then this is the channel for you. So make sure you subscribe. The thing that makes most hard tech projects so hard isn't solving any particular problem of the project. It's solving that problem within the context of everything else, right? We're solving these problems where if I change my design, that affects the design of everything else around me, right? So for that reason, so many growing tech companies today have to be incredibly interdisciplinary. It's the reason why the book Team of Teams by General Stanley McChrystal is one of my most commonly suggested reads, because it's all about how you get individually excellent teams to be excellent together. So like I said, this is one of the biggest problems I see in organizations, is the fact that these silos develop where teams don't want to work together and people don't want to work together. As I said, there's lots of reasons for this, but I have seen one of the fundamental reasons for this is a psychological phenomenon known as the fundamental attribution error. I want to explain what that is really quickly, then apply it to the workplace, and then talk about some ways that you as a manager can help get your team or organization past it. So what is the fundamental attribution error? At a very basic level, what it means is that when you're thinking about your mistakes, you explain it by the situation. But when you're looking at other people's mistakes, you explain it by their character. So a common example of this is in traffic, right? You, as a driver, I can almost guarantee you've cut somebody off, right? You did. And maybe you noticed it or not, but when you did it, you had a reason for it. You're like, I'm really late for this meeting, or I missed my exit. Oh, I'm sorry. You're still a good person, but there was just something about the situation. I'm sorry. I gotta cut you off. I need to go this way. When someone cuts you off, you don't think about any of that. You don't think about why they could be doing the thing they're doing. You just know they cut you off, and that makes them a bad person. You are attributing the error that they made to them as a person and not the situation. And ironically, just like for me personally in my life, one of the ways that I've reduced stress the most is whenever I'm out in traffic and somebody cuts me off or they're tailgating me or whatever, I immediately think in my mind, I hope they make it to the hospital on time. Right? I try to assume the best. I say like, man, they're probably having a bad day. They're going to the hospital. They need something, and God bless, just like, I hope they make it. That's something that you have to train yourself to do. And so when we think about this in the workplace, I'm talking about traffic. What do you mean, Matt? What are you talking about? In the workplace, you can see this happen all the time, right? When you're late on a project, it's because something changed at the last minute, or your boss gave you this extra workload, or something was happening at work. I'm sorry, I'm trying my best, but I got this done late. I'm sorry, but it was for all these reasons. When someone gives you a project that is late, how often do you think about all that stuff? Oh, it's because they're lazy. Oh, it's because they weren't really trying. Oh, it's because they were distracted, right? You, when you're thinking about your life, see all the mistakes that you make, and you can find a clear reason for it. You don't know what's going on in their life. So you have no ability to attribute the mistake that they're making to things in their life, so you think it's them, right? And that, in a nutshell, is the fundamental attribution error applied to work. And that, in a nutshell, is the biggest reason, in my experience, when I've led teams, when I've watched teams, why great, amazing people don't get along. We're all really smart. We're all working hard, but it's this fundamental error of I can see what's going on in my head, but I can't see what's going on in your head. I know what's going on in my life, but I don't know what's going on in your life that causes these rifts. And the way I like to describe this is that if you want to fix this as a leader, you need to take people on your team from seeing each other as coworkers to seeing each other as people. Right? That's the shift that you're trying to make. And so I want to share with you there's lots of ways that you can fix this, but one really simple technique, you may have heard me talk about it before because I always talk about it, is icebreakers in team meetings. Just take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, that's all it takes at the beginning of a meeting to say, hey, before we get into the day-to-day, before we get into the things that we're going to talk about here, let's just take 5 minutes to answer a simple question like, what did everybody do this weekend? What is a book that you read recently? What's your favorite movie that you've seen in the last 6 months, right? Something non-work related that's personal. If you just start doing it, it's going to seem really awkward, or people will maybe say very surface level stuff. But I promise you, if you keep asking these questions and keep having these kinds of discussions over time, somebody's going to say, oh, I was rock climbing. And somebody will say, you rock climb? I didn't even know that. I love rock climbing. Right? Those little nuggets of connection will start to come out naturally. And I can promise you that, because I've seen it firsthand in multiple teams, how this idea of the fundamental attribution goes away. Because as soon as I make the jump from seeing you as a coworker, seeing you as a person, it's much easier for me to imagine, oh, you got this to me late because I know something's going on in your life, because you're having a problem with your daughter, or something happens at school, or, oh, this big workload just fell on you that you weren't expecting. It's just much easier for us to assume the best of intents instead of the worst of intents. And all it takes is taking 5 minutes at the beginning of a team meeting to ask a simple question, such as, what did you do this weekend? That's all it takes. I hope you found this video helpful. I really think this is one of the more powerful techniques to help teams that are all smart, hardworking people, help them work together in order to be more effective. And I look forward to seeing you next time